you. What a sweet reminder. So again, welcome. Our theme for the year for the Centers for Spiritual Living has been Living Everyday Wonder. And this month of May is about emotions. And my talk title that I was given was Joy-Filled and Happy. I had a question mark. Oh, it's not up there. Because I have to admit, when I was given that talk title, Joy-Filled and Happy, I wasn't in a happy place. I wasn't feeling really good about what was going on in the world. Anybody? Yeah, all that's going on, the distractions, the dysfunction, the disaster of war, the this and the that, everything. How can I be joy-filled and happy? And then I come back to remember that we're always a choice into how we respond or react to something. And despite what's going on, how can I celebrate this thing called life and the joy of living? Well, can I just remember to be in gratitude and feel the blessings that I do have? Can I remember to call on the divine when I need? To return to my center. It's the best I can do. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm off center, I'm not a happy camper. Has anybody been an unhappy camper before? So we have the chance every moment, every day, to start anew. So when we individually choose to live from happiness, peace, or joy, we can make a positive impact on others. When we do our part, happiness not only being positive enhances our lives, but it enhances those around us. It enhances the whole. And how cool is that, to know that as an individual, you are a viable force for good in the world. Yay. And this confirms the reciprocal nature of the universe. So as we let our individual lights shine, we can allow others to shine their lights as well. So just think about what kind of perspective do you have right now on your life and in the world. Just to notice that. How are you doing? Yeah, take a breath. So there's a funny story that I've told before maybe about two friends. And one friend said, "Oh, I fell out of an airplane." And his friend said, "Oh, that's bad." "Well, I had a parachute." "Oh, well, that's good." "Well, the parachute didn't open." "No, that's bad." "Well, there was a haystack underneath." "Oh, that's good." "And there was a pitchfork in the haystack." "Oh, that's bad." "Well, I missed the pitchfork." "Oh, that's good." "I missed the haystack as well." Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Don't we do that all the time? You know, it's part of our human nature. But it's about perspective. It's about perspective and faith in a greater good. So this month in the Science of Mind magazine, Reverend David Alexander from the Atlanta Church had a wonderful commentary on Ernest Holmes' writing. And since we're talking about emotions, he says, "I've adopted a practice of simply being with the first reaction or emotion that surfaces when I scan the world around me, whether it's through social media, the news, or my own observation. I simply be with what is, and I acknowledge it as it is, resisting any desire to turn away, ignore, justify, defend, or argue. The result is an emotional practice as I find myself being with my anger, being with my pain, heartache, disgust, cynicism, sarcasm, grief, sadness, worry, doubt. Emotions are our pathways of greater insight into what's really happening in the law of mind." He says, "When I have the courage to follow where they lead, I discover old beliefs, worn out ideas, and unconscious biases that have long been overdue for a thorough examination." He says, "If you practice this, you'll be doing some heavy lifting in the field of mind science and consciousness work. Feeling our emotions connects us and reminds us of our humanity and our capacity for compassion, healing, and forgiveness. So we want to be aware of our emotions, but we don't want to park our car there and live there, especially if they're negative and uncomfortable. Because there are really no bad emotions, I believe. There's only repressed emotions and unexpressed ones. And did you know that most emotions and sensations actually move through our body in 90 seconds or less if we match our expression with our experience? So if we repress an emotion or recycle it into another one that doesn't feel good, it can harden into a mood. And a mood can sometimes last for years. I know none of you have that. But think about that. So feeling a feeling all the way through means just noticing it, naming it, just locating it in your body. Wow. Breathing, vocalizing about it, writing about it, allowing it to move. It's just energy. Because if we aren't feeling so great about something, we want to pay attention to that. Remember last week, the bubbles? Reverend Maggie's little thing she had, and all those bubbles came out. So imagine those negative feelings you're having like bubbles. Let them just move through you. Because feelings are just feedback. We don't want to push them away. So then we ask ourselves, what do I want to feel? I don't want to feel sarcastic or be a cynic anymore. So what do I want to feel? I came up with a little affirmation. I'm happy to be alive and I'm open to living a joy-filled life. And I've been working with that, slowly. Because we can practice what Michael Beckwith says, energetic shape-shifting. So Reverend Michael says this: bring your awareness to the power, the presence, and the love that is within you. Place your attention on that vibratory field because, as you know, everything is energy. Even the thought forms that you're having are units of mental energy vibrating. So we can energetically shape-shift our affirmative prayer, our meditation, our contemplation, and begin to set ourselves free. So he has a little ditty that says, you might as well give in and be happy. You might as well give in and be great. You might as well give in and be prosperous. You might as well. You might as well. Are you with me? Yep. It's kind of like, yeah, I could maybe. Because he says, when you take the stand in your own life, the idea is to no longer run from those areas of life that you're unhappy about, you might even be embarrassed about, and you shift that clean energy, that divine energy, into the areas that don't seem to be working quite so good. Then he says you're a candidate for insight, revelation, divine guidance. Now you're a candidate for compelling right action. You might as well give in and be happy. You might as well give in and be great. You might as well give in and be prosperous. You might as well. You might as well. Because what's the alternative? Amen. Can I hear an amen? Amen. I'm happy to be alive and I'm open to living a joy-filled life. I'd like you to say that with me. I'm happy to be alive. And I'm open to living a joy-filled life. So what do you think is the leading cause of health and wellness? It's elevated emotions.
Well, you feel like you're happy. Everything in your body's happy. Your mind, your body.
Yeah. So what makes us feel sensations of happiness and joy are brain chemicals. It's not a situation, it's the brain chemicals. It's how we react or respond to something. And there are 4 primary chemicals that drive our positive emotions, and they're called joy molecules or happiness hormones. You may have heard about these. There are books written about them. I'm not making this up. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. All of them have a positive effect on the whole body. They basically produce what are called tonic chemicals as opposed to toxic chemicals. So these important neurochemicals influence our joy because they're involved in our mood, our motivation, and our learning. Because when we're stressed out, we can't think straight. Have you ever noticed that? When we're under a lot of stress, we just can't think straight. It's because we're operating from the reptilian brain instead of the prefrontal cortex. So when, as I always do in my meditations, I ask you to breathe slowly, it brings blood and oxygen to the frontal brain, which allows us to think more clearly, to make better decisions. So it's very important to understand that we have the capacity to bring ourselves into a more centered, present place. And there's different ways to increase your happy hormones. Exercise, as we know, releases endorphins. There's certain foods that can add to assist us in these hormones. Meditation, laughter, being in nature, practicing gratitude. I had the opportunity, I just got back last night from 3 days of camping in the Redwoods, near Mendocino, near the coast. And I have to tell you, I realized when we were walking through the grove, it was so quiet. And these trees are, 300 feet tall. And they're 700 years old. They're called gentle giants. They had such a profound effect on my whole being, with everyone that was with us. And I thought, you can't go into a forest like this and stay angry for very long, or grumpy, or upset, because it has that healing energy in the forest, or at the ocean, or in the river, wherever you go. But I highly encourage you to, when you're upset or things are really stirring for you, is to get in nature and just be. Sit against a tree. We were all hugging the redwoods and getting that Om energy. It was quite magnificent. Brene Brown, a wonderful author, says, in addition to creating happiness in our lives, cultivate the spiritual practices that lead to joyfulness, especially gratitude. We need to live from a place of gratitude and joy, she says. And gratitude is probably one of the easiest things to grasp, because we can be grateful for the littlest thing, can't we? If you choose. Smile. You're on life's camera. Smile. Start my internal love engine. And smiles are contagious. And did you know that smiling releases neuropeptides that boost your immune system, lower your blood pressure? Yeah. And interestingly, if you smile at someone, their immune system is boosted. Turn around, look around, everybody, just smile. And if they're not smiling, just give them yours. Their immune system is boosted even if they don't smile back. I love that. So you're giving a gift. That's the reciprocal nature of the universe. So I hope you're smiling now. I have little Post-it notes in my house and on my car that just say smile, so I remember. And I often, when I teach yoga, we're in a yoga pose and we're holding something and it might be a little bit difficult. We're working our balance or whatever it is, and everyone's very serious, and I'll say smile, and they're all like, I say, show me your teeth. But it makes a difference, doesn't it, Penny? You know that? All of a sudden, you're present, you're relaxed, you're in the moment. So I'm going to invite you this week to really notice how little we smile, and then just start smiling for no reason. Boost your neuropeptides. Yay, neuropeptides. I'm happy to be alive.
Happy to be alive.
And I open to joy-filled life.
And I open to joy-filled life.
Yeah. So happiness is driven by a state of mind, a consciousness, and an awareness. If we live from a place of enthusiasm, expectancy, and positivity, then it lifts our spirits and creates pleasantness around us. Life feels less like drudgery regardless of how bad things may be in our circumstances. And again, we can learn to shift our perspective, do an energetic shapeshift, to see things as opportunities for growth and learning. What if we all put on our divine glasses? Wow, wouldn't that be cool? The world would be different, wouldn't it? So gratitude, finding joy in the smallest things and commenting to yourself, my life is blessed. I say that all the time. My life is blessed. The fake it till you make it and act as though it is principles are all about turning our attention to what we want to accomplish, not necessarily what is happening right now. So where's our faith in the greater good? And this is what we talk about in Science of Mind as the mental equivalent, right? That it eventually comes to pass. And we can use this personally and for the collective. And the pay it forward principle is about giving from a space of abundance and gratitude, a loving act of kindness that brings the giver and the receiver a sense of joy. We have an interesting thing going on in our family is we're getting ready to put our house on the market. And in the background, I hear all this rumbling about, oh, the interest rates are going up. Oh, nobody wants to live up where you live. Oh, your house is too old. Oh, you've only got one bathroom downstairs. Oh. And I'm not paying any attention to that. My attention is that somebody's going to drive up our driveway and say, I love this place. I've always wanted an old home to fix up. I'm just staying in that lane. I'll tell you, that's the way it has to be. So I'm going to hopefully tell you in a couple weeks that we sold our house like that. I mean, I know I'm going to tell you that. But again, it's where we're putting our attention. I have faith. I have faith in it. Are you willing to move into more of a heart-based living with faith in your life? Yeah. To move from that overthinking mind into your feeling heart. Yeah. Because it makes a difference. Your heart will never lead you wrong. Never. And I know that the human experience does have joys and pains, ups and downs, lights and dark, and both sides of the continuum and what's in between. But when we experience both sides, it provides a greater appreciation for both of them. Being conscious. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, the ability to control your experiences and have them result in happiness, prosperity, and success lies in your own mind and the way you use it. We hear that here, don't we? It's in your own mind. So we have a thing in New Thought philosophy called holding the high watch. You've probably heard that, and we often have a practitioner in the back of the room who is holding the high watch. But as Amada's our practitioner today, she's also holding the high watch. What does that mean? Well, in ancient times, many cities erected tall towers along their perimeter, in which watchmen were posted with the order to be constantly vigilant and observant, and be assuring that the safeguard of the well-being of all the people in the village or the town were from unwelcome visitors. And because they were elevated in their towers and were on duty round the clock, they were literally holding the high watch, allowing them to identify anybody approaching that shouldn't be there, and to close the gate if they have to. So think about when you struggle with fear, anxiety, or stress. You can be encouraged by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, stand guard at the portal of your mind. Which is basically pay attention to what you're paying attention to. And Emma Curtis Hopkins and Ernest Holmes knew and taught the importance of holding the high watch, with the added understanding that it not only is a mental exercise, but a spiritual practice as well. Because you're not only holding the high watch of those thoughts that are coming in, but you're also working from the premise that God is all there is. that the divine is all there is, so that you have an elevated and sustained state of consciousness. So with clear intention, when we hold the high watch for ourselves, we see only the presence of good, or the possibility of good. And Joel Goldsmith said, holding the high watch means to know that God is on the field. Take a breath with that. So I invite you to pay attention to that this week also, about holding the high watch, just noticing where your thoughts are going, where your emotions are going, and are they working for you? And that you have the tools and the technique. You can call a practitioner anytime also to get support for this. The Buddha said, to enjoy health, happiness, and peace, one must discipline one's mind. Find the way to enlightenment and wisdom, because what you think, you become. I fell out of an airplane. Oh, that's bad. Well, I had a parachute. Well, that's good. Right? So I want you to think about these three things. Express your emotions, not repress them. Express them in a healthy way. And remember, you can energetically shape-shift things, and that happiness comes from within. Smile and hold the high watch this week. Are you willing?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Great. So for our prayer today, to close, I'm going to share with you a video that I created 8 years ago. It was based on spiritual mind treatment. And I did it as a final project when I became a licensed spiritual practitioner. So I'm going to share that with you. Identify and connect with the perfect pattern of life itself, standing in a circle of oneness, wholeness, with no beginning and no end. The triune nature of being, spirit, soul, body, the infinity of spirits, boundless potential, infinite possibilities through the universal creative process. I connect to the absolute, the truth, the presence, passing through the creative medium of the law, the soul, descending into form, into my human experience, where I live, move, and have my beingness in this one life. I take a conscious breath of arrival to begin spiritual mind treatment in motion. Recognizing that everything is alive, awake, and aware with spirits, with life. There is only one power working, one energy vibrating, one presence flowing, one mind, one heart beating, one life expressing in and through everything. Life is all there is. Life is the source of all creation. I recognize that this omniscient and omnipotent nature contains unconditional love, wholeness, success, truth, wisdom, clarity, abundance, peace, and harmony. As this divine presence, this life is everywhere and filling all space, then it must be in me. I claim it is that which I am. I am that life. I am one with that source. I affirm that I am an expression
an instrument in this divine symphony, in tune and in harmony. I am filled with and unified with this infinite source of life. All the power there is, all the presence there is right where I am, right now. Right now. I am necessary to life's creativity and expansion. I realize that there is a divine pattern of perfection at the very center of my being, and all that I desire, all that I need, is ever available to me through the one mind. My mind is a center of divine operation. I dwell in wholeness. I speak my word that the perfect action of the one life expresses itself through me now. I am filled with peace. I am a vessel of love. I am prosperous and abundant. I accept success in all my endeavors. There is inside me a place of confidence, and I have faith in the unseen. I have trust in the flow and harmony of my life. I love my life. My heart is filled with gratitude. I am so happy and grateful that I am now consciously receptive to the divine inflow of truth. I pulsate with this frequency of gratitude. Thank you for the perfect action now taking place in my consciousness. Thank you for this and even greater. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As I release these, my words, into the action of the creative law, the soil that always says yes to what is planted. And knowing that my realization is already so, I can relax and let go. Relax and let good. And I just let it be. And I breathe, and I smile. And so it is. Amen.